Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SFR. This is Division 1 for round 9 here at the Monza Grand Prix. Last time out, we had a fantastic race in the Singapore Grand Prix with Oscar versus Volokongan with Canadian P3. But here, we had a tempo speed, completely different track as well. High-speed track, full of straights, and throttle majority lap as well. My name is Jamie Morris, and alongside me tonight is Tiger Buka. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Glad to be back in the comms booth with a different person, of course, and my first Div 1 commentary of the season and in the server.
I'm glad you have that experience now behind your back pocket commentator with me as we go on board with Pitbull Turbo. So Turbo, we had a fantastic qualifying last time out the Singapore Grand Prix, but unfortunately the strategy didn't play in his hands. I think the safety car came out at the wrong possible times. Oliver says hello, Jamie and Tiger. Hello to you, Oliver. Nice to see you here in the chat,
Hello,
mate.
Oliver.
Yeah, I know you commentate with Oliver. How is it commentating with Oliver? Do you enjoy it in Division 3?
Yeah, I do, especially on this track on Monday. I don't know if you caught it or not, but oh my god, we couldn't keep up.
Yeah, I know, it was probably difficult as well. And yesterday, we did see a rain-impacted circuit, so it did rain quite a long way into the Grand Prix, but the intermediates were only used later on because the hard compound tyres were just manageable enough to get them through to that phase. Then they pitted on the intermediates much later. Some people pitted earlier than others, which cost them towards the end of the Grand Prix because they fell backwards on older intermediate compound tyres. So, we're going to go on board with this man, Pitbull Turbo, who I dare say had some fantastic pace, but the time of the safety car just came out at the wrong time for him as well. As there was two safety cars caused by Bear Remy, and it was Sammy last time out. But on board with the McLaren driver then. Last win for McLaren here was 2022 with Daniel Ricciardo, his last win. His last win in Formula 1. But now we're headed down towards the back straight. We go the main straight, headed down towards turn 1, braking just before the 100 meter board, scumming off all the speed of the entry, clipping the curbs in towards both apexes in turn 1 and turn 2. Getting on the throttle nicely there as soon as the car's rotated. Now you can see some people use a bit of curb on the inside, just try and rotate the car and get the maximum amount of track time, but he doesn't really touch that curb, headed towards Curb Guardi. Now coming towards the second chicane where we saw Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton make contact. You want to take a lot of curb there, but try not to hit the sausage curb on the inside because that's where your car off balance. Now we're coming towards the first Lesmo, in towards fifth gear we go. Nicely done there for Pitbull. In towards the second Lesmo, hitting the apex very nicely as well, using the curb on the outside. This seems to be a decent first lap time so far for Pitbull Turbo, keeping it nice and clean, no obvious mistakes as we make our way out towards the sky. You're going to be fully committed through here. It's very easy to cut the inside curb as well, both corners, because it is so tight there. You want to try and cut as much as you can, obviously without invalidating then. So he is headed down the back straight now. This seems to be a decent first lap so far from Pitbull Turbo as he's making his way down towards Parabolic. Get the car turned in. I think he just overshot it a bit there on the inside, taking too much curb, and the car exiting the final corner. Then here he is towards the line. This lap time's going to be an 18.6, and wow, what a decent first lap time that is there for Pitbull Turbo as we've got Laser in the Aston Martin now ready to cross the line, but I don't think he's on a flying lap. I think he just backed off there, so just going for a second lap on these soft compound tyres. I'm not quite sure if he made a mistake or not in his first lap. Elsewhere on the track, we've got Laser going up to P2 with a 23.6 then, so obviously that wasn't a representative lap time, but somebody behind him is getting a very nice tow. Looks like it's OWR Jalgan who is picking up the tow, but he does outbrake himself in towards turn 1 and turn 2, so it's a very squirrely, messy start indeed for Jalgan. Already backs off then, so had an advantage of a tow, but couldn't use it to continue with the rest of the lap then.
Yeah, he also had Red Bull behind as well. He had a nice little tow off Dugan as well, so hopefully he can do something with that with his lap time.
5 lays up into P3, the Ferrari can name into P2 with an 18.8. We've got Nordis now, pops this Williams into P4 then, so that first lap time for Pitbull Turbo has been absolutely amazing there, securing pole in the 18.6s. That's where you want to aim about as well to get pole, but we'll see if anybody else could try and dethrone that. Then we've got plenty of people out there so far on their last. Malnus is in the Red Bull replacing Hurricane style, so Hurricane does miss a race as his championship aspirations are starting to fall down the table, unfortunate for him. Then his season has gone absolutely shocking for his standards. Man had 11 wins last season, but only has one podium this season, which is unfortunate there for the Red Bull driver of Hurricane. But here comes his replacement of Maldus now, exiting the Parabolica then as he makes his way towards the line. What's it going to be for Maldus, who returns back to Div 1 as a reserve driver? He pops himself into P6. He is now, I think he's confirmed Div 2 driver as Maldus, so hopefully he can find his rhythm there. Mr. Joker goes up into P6, started last in Mr. Joker, finished in P3, I believe it was. He did.
Yeah, P3 yesterday in Div 2. What performance from him yesterday.
We got Adams in the RB then, who is a full Div 2 driver, as he's still yet to see if he can try and get himself back into Div 1, because he's got some mighty pace. On his day, Adams can be really, really quick, but at the same time, we have seen him struggle. He's currently third in the championship in Division 2. He's picked up one podium so far this season. That was back in the Singapore Grand Prix. What a mega drive that was in Singapore as well for Adams. Kept him nice and controlled as well. Kept out of trouble, as we got Adams now exiting the Parabolica in the Racing Bulls, of course, where Sebastian Vettel won in 2008 ahead of Heikki Kovalainen, and Kubica went from P10 to P3 in the race as well. So that was a fantastic day for Formula 1, because Sebastian Vettel literally dominated the whole race in the Toro Rosso. Then a few years later, or should I say over 10 years later, it was Pierre Gasly who won in AlphaTauri after that fantastic race when Kevin Magnussen caused the safety car because his car broke down. But racing goes towards the top of the pile with an 18.6. What a lap time there for the RP driver.
Sorry, I'm a bit quiet. I was getting my groove a bit.
It's fine. Just when you're comfortable, just talk, mate. There's no pressure at all.
Yeah.
Just when you're comfortable. But now we've got Warner, who is finally here. I don't think he's had a race yet, Warner, this season.
He's also invalidated. So.
Yeah, I saw that. Unfortunately for him, he has invalidated, so he won't get his first banker lap time on the board then. We've got quite a few people, including Shizuzu, Oscar, Volakongan, Langfeld, Draugen and Rising Star, who are yet to set lap times in their car then. So let's see how they do on their performances. But majority of people back in the pit lane end after completing their first round of runs. So the LP driver of racing, like I said, who is a regular top 10 finisher, but unfortunately lagged out at the Chinese Grand Prix, so far all the way backwards. But he is up there so far. Can Racing Imola take his first pole here at SFR? Can he do it as well? Because he's been lingering around, I think, the top 10 every single time he's been racing as well. He has been struggling in the last few Grand Prix in terms of staying up with the DRS trade, but his pace has been consistent and he does get those regular top 10 finishes as well. So let's see how he does here tonight in Imola, but Monza. But so far, good job for the LP driver. Pitbull Turbo, who took pole last week at the Singapore Grand Prix. Did a fantastic job. He did control the race, but the safety car came at the wrong time for him, and he had to work his way back through the field as well. And he also picked up some damage with cars all around him. And Jensen as well took a right in towards turn 16 and 17. So that's definitely race ended right there. But I think we've got some more people on the outlaws then. Volakongan, we don't really see him qualify, but when he does qualify, he really amps it up and puts him some phenomenal lap times indeed then. So let's see if Volakongan will qualify. The man who is a PSGL F1, he would have had a race as well about 2 days ago as well. So let's see how he does around here. He's been very, very quick so far in SFR, as you expect. So is Oscar as well with their mighty battle when it came to the Singapore Grand Prix. Those two went side by side in towards turn 1 and turn 2, and they had to try and make it work towards the end because it was very, very wet in the last 2 laps of the Singapore Grand Prix, and therefore they were skating around on old tyres trying to keep it on the track. That was their main goal, while others tried to exploit it and try to capitalise where other people struggled. But now we've got Volakongan, and it's right behind him is Langfeld as well. So this has happened last week as well when Volakongan and Langfeld gave each other a tow. So it looks like Volakongan is willing to help him as we make our way down towards the main straight. Let's watch on board a lap with Volakongan in the Ferrari in front of the home Tifosi here, where I'm pretty sure it'll be packed this year with Lewis Hamilton joining the Ferrari as well. It was always packed. Good energy with the crowd here. Go down towards turn 1. A bit hesitant going down towards turn 1. He had to counter it a bit as well. Just had to steer out in towards turn 1. Now coming towards turn 3, we go fully flat-out corner. No problems through there whatsoever, although we did see a weird spin from the Red Bull yesterday. But Rising Star goes towards the top of the table. It's an 18.5 for Rising Star. Look at Volakongan really attacking the curbs there. Langfeld is still behind him then, so it looks like Langfeld is gaining good ground by being the Ferrari as well. Gets some multiple toes as Volakongan comes through the second leg, but it looks like a decent first lap so far for Volakongan. Can he keep it up there? We've got Oscar as well out there in the kick Sauber, so let's watch out for him. He's coming down towards turn 1 and turn 2. But so far, it's Rising Star.
Laser on lap as well. He's gone 2.8 seconds quicker in sector 1.
Oh no, Volakonga unfortunately has invalidated this, so that lap time will not count. It's the most common place we caught out in Ascari. It's just so difficult indeed. But Langfeld then gets a benefit of the toe. Let's see how much it helps him. Can he catapult himself up through the order? We're about to find out. Slipstream is very beneficial as well here in Monza. But Langfeld goes towards 8th place. Decent lap time there for Langfeld as we got Oscar on his flying lap in the kick salvers. Let's see what the Shizu man is doing down to 15th place. There he is in the kick salve under the old banking as we head towards the sky. Then fully committed through here, carries to speed through 6th gear, but also unfortunately invalidates his lap time. Same place as Volakongan, taking too much curb on the inside there, which has cost him dearly.
And Laser has improved his lap time to 1 minute 19.0, which puts him in 6th place at the moment.
Decent lap time there for Laser, our championship leader, by about 6 points as well. Fireblazers is P2, Kaname is P3, Jensen, the Shizuma man in P4, but Jensen is not here tonight, so it looks like Laser, Fireblaze, Kaname to try and get ground on Jensen behind as well. But so far, Riser Star rises towards the top of the timing sheet and he takes pole. He has been struggling in the last few races, it must be said, for Riser Star. He had a great start to the season, scoring multiple podiums, but the Saudi Arabian, just in the last few races, couldn't really get it together. So hopefully his luck changes, because Mercedes will want to do the championship at one point, but Riser Star is still searching for his first win of the season, while trying to take his first pole of the season as well. Is the man from Saudi Arabia. Very nice guy indeed is Riser Star. Very good guy in the community as well. So here we are then, X-Team Power Bolliker. This is racing in the LP. Can he take that pole? We're about to find out. He can! It's an 18.4. What a mega lap time there for racing. He's on fire tonight, is the Alpine driver. Finally found some speed in the Alpine to put himself into first place. And we could see a new driver be on pole for this Grand Prix as well. Elsewhere on the track, we've got Fireblaze, we've got Kaname as well, but I don't think those two are currently in the flying lap. Blaze is headed back into pit lane. We know he's completed a lap here. Let me slow it down as well. So not much action going on so far between all these guys here. I think we've got some people on a flying lap. I think Pitbull's on a flying lap. Yeah, coming down towards turn 1 and turn 2 then. So last week's pole sitter, good for it. Let's see, can he improve on an 18.6? I presume he's on new tyres. He is, so he's on a brand new set of soft compound tyres there, ready to go for it again to try and take pole away from racing. But he's backed off. I don't think he's satisfied with that first few corners there.
Yeah, we've got Wilner on a flying lap as well, coming up to the sector 2 line.
Where is he? I can't seem to find it. What position is he in? Wilner. Where is
14th.
he? Oh 14th. Yeah, sorry, my eyes were deceiving me there. I was looking at the Shizu guys. He said, yeah, I wasn't looking at a particular part of the track.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, SF1 Shizu. But here comes Wilner now towards the final corner on his debut then. So finally nice to see him race here. What can he do on his debut in the Haas? Oh, that's his teammate right in front of him. Gets out of the way. 7th place is his reward. Good lap time indeed there from the Haas man as well to put himself into P7. And now Iko is back after missing a few races, ladies and gentlemen. He was a full-time driver, but unfortunately sustained a few problems earlier in the season. He's a very quick driver as well. Iko almost came so close to a podium in one of the races as well, but he has missed quite a few races. But him and Riser Star are teammates for this Grand Prix as well. We've got a kick salver, that's OWR Dragon, who scored his best result of the season at the Singapore Grand Prix last week in 5th place. It was a fantastic drive, but Dragon promotes himself into P7 then. So what another fantastic performance for Dragon. Is this man finally starting to find some confidence after a dip in performance in the last few races? Because ever since he came back to F1 this season and last season as well, he has been struggling. So it looks like he was just adjusting to the game and trying to find his bearings. But here comes Pitbull. Go for it again. Oh! Dips the wheel in the gravel there. That's a massive shame there for Pitbull.
He's also backed off again. So I wonder if he's going to go back into the pit lane to change his tyres again.
Got the fuel, maybe not the tyre grip, or the peak performance of the tyre grip, sorry. So will he go back in the pit lane, put on a brand new set of softs? Does he have another set of softs in his disposal? Because we've seen plenty out there times as well in qualifying. So does he have another set of softs in his disposal to use and go out there later on? But only so far, it's Pitbull and Dragon on track. We've got a few more people exiting the pit lane. Noldus and Laser out of the pit lane we go. But interesting to see what Pitbull does. Does he bail off into the pit lane? Does he have another set of soft compound tyres? Let's see then as he rounds the final corner. It looks like he's going to go to the pit lane to put on his last set of soft compound tyres, if he has it or not in his allocation then. So softer, you get 4 set of soft compound tyres, balance 3 and harder 2. So on board with our championship leader, which is Laser, who is first place by 6 points ahead of Fireblaze in P2. Fireblaze hasn't picked up a podium yet this season, but he's still in second place in the championship. Consistency is key, as they say. Fireblaze is still searching for his first podium of this season. Here we are, Laser comes out parabolica now as he's about to start a flying lap on board with the Aston Martin team as we head down towards the main straight. DRS wide open there, reaching speeds about 340 comes down, that's about 213 as we look for the braking point is before the 100-meter board. Down to the gears we go, into third, clipping the apexes very nicely, get the car tucked in, get the rotation you need. Doesn't suffer with traction at the exit of turn 1 and turn 2 because it's a slow speed corner. That means it's very easy to lose traction. Now coming through Curva Grande, we go flat out through this kink before we head down towards the second chicane where we see plenty of people get caught out of the pass here. So you're going to really attack it, but be very careful. High amount of curves as well. Too much curve can send you off the track, and also on the exit as well in the gravel, which he just dipped a wheel there. So I'm not quite sure if you lose time or not, but Laser out wide and unfortunately invalidates.
Unlucky for him there, but we've also still got two drivers who are still in the pit lane yet to set a lap time, so I wonder if they're going to come out any second now.
To be fair, Oscar and Bolakonga don't really qualify. They like to start the back of the field like they did in Singapore. So, yeah, those two, we won't see them out in this session unless they change their minds right now. But the time is ticking down. Noldus is 4/10 up in the first sector. Can he keep it nice and tidy? A very good run there. Attacking the curves very nicely, going in towards the score. Just trying to maximise every single part of the racetrack you can. Heading down towards Parabolica now as we storm through down towards fifth gear we go. Just trying get as close to the apex as you can, but misses it slightly. But gets back on the throttle now with the ERS he has left in his disposal. Here comes Noldus towards the line. What's it going to be? P7 with an 18.9 there. Good attempt from late Noldus, but how happy will he be with that lap time? And once again, Laser's going for a lap as well in the Aston Martin. So his second lap on the set of soft compound tyres. Remember, he dipped a wheel in the gravel at turn 4. Let's hope he doesn't do that this time. Here we go, in towards Curva Grande we go. He's currently P10, trying to get himself in the 18s, where majority of people are so far. Is it improvement? Nope. He's 1,000s down in the first sector as he attacks these curves once again where he lost it before. This time gets a very nice smooth run out of the corner to head towards the first Lesmo. High speed corner, take it through fifth gear, back to the throttle again. Now we're headed towards the second Lesmo, down to fifth again, just a quick downshift. Back to the throttle as soon as the car is straightened up and using the outside curve as well to rotate the car. Colin Pinto went off there on his qualifying debut. And now we're headed towards the second Lesmo, Ascari, sorry. Laser is, again. Invalidates, and the time is almost up there, so I think that's Laser's potential last lap because I'm not quite sure if he's got the fuel to go for it again. But Racing goes off the track at turn before. A lot of people getting caught out by the exit of the corners there. It's catching a lot of people out so far as they try to attack the corner, so I think Racing might lose a bit of time. He's already a 10th down the first sector. I don't think he'll gain the time back, but there is Pitbull, I think, right behind him. No, it's not. It's Ultra McLaren Langfell. So Langfell is using people for ERS then as Rising Star heads towards the end of the first sector. Couldn't quite catch what his first sector was like. Laser is back in the pit lane to retire his car, so qualifying is done and dusted. A disappointing qualifying for Laser standards in P10, then he'll not be happy, but does he have the race pace to come through? Here we are towards the second Lesmo. We go on board with Rising Star with an 18.5. Needs to find a bit more time in the middle and last sector if he wants to dethrone Racing as well. His teammate Ickle is invalidated his lap time, but Rising Star is a 10th down in the middle sector. Goes a bit wide though, but scoops up. It goes off the track completely, and that's his qualifying definitely done and dusted. But here comes Kaname. What can the American gonna do as he makes his way out of the corner? He could have crossed the line any moment given. It's P4. Baby! Remy is up into P3. What a fantastic qualifying finally for the Red Bull driver. Something is going right for him after a disappointing last few races. Pitbull Turbo in the McLaren goes into P4, but Remy the star on qualifying in P3. What a fantastic, but Racing has taken his first pole of the season, so let's not discredit that. But what a fantastic attempt from Remy to put himself into P3. Much needed boost that for the Red Bull driver. But we're going to go to the toilet very quickly.
No problem. So here's your driving standings after qualifying. We've got Racing, I don't even know how you say him, but we've got Racing in provisional pole. We've got Rising Star, Bear Remy, Pitbull Turbo, Ickle, Kaname, Fireblaze, Dragon, Noldus, Wilner, Laser, Joker, Langfell, Melners, Adams, Oscar and Folakongan.
So there are your drivers then, 17 drivers, but 2 of them did not participate, which is the Shizou boys, who are going to start down in 16th and the 17th place. Can they make their way through the field as they've done in the past few races? They both started last before, finished 1-2 in Singapore. Evening, Daniel. Hopefully you're doing right, mate. Nice to see you in the chat.
Yes, eventually we got a Jamie and a Tiger for comms. Eventually.
Bound to happen at some point. Going to be a great race, as Daniel. I believe so as well. It's all about the run towards the first corner. I remember Antonio Liuzzi back in 2011 when he took out Rosberg and I think Petrov on that day as well, going sideways in towards the first few corners. First time HRT has been at the front of the field by going sideways in towards turn 1. But yeah, we'll see then what happens. Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher own the track record for the most amount of wins here in Monza. 5 apiece for Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton as well. But I think that was Ferrari's last win in 2006. Did they win the Italian Grand Prix in 2010? I'm not quite sure. Shout out to Joker and Adams from a Div 2. Yes, indeed. Both doing a good job so far. May find it a bit difficult, but we'll see how they get along. So let's hope that... So I think it was Fernando Alonso who won the Italian Grand Prix in 2010 and had a very, very poor run so far has Ferrari, not getting any wins in the past few years, as Mercedes are on top as well. Vettel in his glory days back in the Red Bull was doing a fantastic job as well. So yeah, Sebastian Vettel won this Grand Prix back in 2008. It was a stunning drive and one of the most memorable drives I've ever seen from Sebastian Vettel. Being that young as well, I just witnessing him come to the field like there's no tomorrow. Well, he did come to the field. He started on pole and he stayed on pole as well. Sebastian Bourdais, his team at the time, did have a good qualifying, but I think he stalled on the grid then. So Sebastian Bourdais wasn't able to get going as Sebastian Vettel controlled the race from start to finish, to get his first win for Toro Rosso. Toro Rosso's first and only win until Pierre Gasly did it again in 2020. Sebastian Vettel finished first. Heikki Kovalainen in second place. A good podium for him as well, because Lewis Hamilton was struggling on that day in the rain after spinning in qualifying multiple times. And Robert Kubica, the BMW Sauber driver, went from P10 to P3. It was a great drive there for all 3 of them. But yeah, Monza has definitely shown us some fantastic racing in its past history as well. Especially last season as well, we saw Charles Leclerc take his second win for Ferrari after beating Oscar Piastri. Both McLarens converted to a 2-stop strategy, and that was the wrong way to go because the 1-stop was just good enough to take Leclerc all the way to the end. What a fantastic victory for Leclerc as well in 2024. 2021, of course, when we saw Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton make contact at turn number 2. Then it was Daniel Ricciardo who went on to win his final race in McLaren and in his career as well, with Lando Norris in P2, and I think Valtteri Bottas taking P3 as well. We had some incredible races here in the past history. 2019, Leclerc won the Grand Prix after defending from Lewis Hamilton for such a long period, after Hamilton hunted him down on the hard compound tyres, but Leclerc just did enough to get his first win in Monza. And in 2018, of course, when we saw Kimi Raikkonen, I think Kimi Raikkonen was on pole, but I think Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton jumped him in towards the first few corners. Kimi Raikkonen did lead the Grand Prix for a certain bit. Then it was Vettel and Hamilton going side by side in towards the second chicane. Vettel spun as he tagged the left rear of Hamilton. Then Hamilton went down to chase after Kimi Raikkonen as well in that year. But yeah, I remember all these qualified sessions as well from all the way back. It's been such good races. I remember Perez getting his second podium in his career in the Sauber after overtaking both Ferraris at their home Grand Prix. Perez was a beast in the Sauber in 2012, scoring quite a few podiums as well. Almost got a win back at the Malaysian Grand Prix. Monza will continue to be on the calendar in the next coming few seasons, and hopefully it will be, because this has been a fantastic track to watch as well. Fantastic battles for its past history. The crowd as well are exhilarant. The energy, the passion for the sport as well, and they're going to have a lot of passion this year, especially with Lewis Hamilton joining the team for Ferrari as well. So I can't wait to see how that happens. I think Ferrari got a really good lineup so far of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton, but I do feel sorry for Carlos Sainz because he also deserved it. But it's all about business at the end of the day. We just hope that Carlos Sainz could do a mega job in Williams. I'm sure he will as well, because Carlos Sainz is a highly rated driver indeed, and hopefully can elevate Williams back to where they were before, with the optimism that the Williams will be better this season, despite all the crash damages they sustained last season as well. But this race should be getting underway very shortly, and the formation lap is on. So nice talk there about the past history. Here we go then, the formation lap is away, and here are your tyre strategies. So, mediums and a few people have got the hards on as well. So, Fireblaze has started with the hardcore power tyres, go for that longer stint, so let's see if it works. We don't really see the hard speed of strategy really work that anymore, because the medium power tyres, you want to get rid of them in the first stint to go to the hards, take them towards the end, because the hards are so durable. They can practically do about over literally a race distance. So as Ellie is in the chat supporting her man of Nordus, who's coming down in P9, so let's see what the Williams driver could do in a P9 there. But racing, can he finally hold on to the lead of the Grand Prix? Let's see. He hasn't led a race this season, has the LP driver, hasn't got a podium just yet this season, neither a first win. So let's see then, can he do it all here tonight in Monza? We're about to find out. As Beremi as well in P3, can Beremi have a change in fortune, because his results have been shocking in the past few races as well. He hasn't got a podium yet this season. He's been outside the top 10 mostly, and he had a few DNFs in the last few races as well, including Singapore, but he crashed out under the bridge there. So not really been a good season for Red Bull so far. Red Bull have been really struggling, as they're currently down in P3, the constructors, 1 point away from Alpine, so it's very close between Alpine and Red Bull as well. But Alpine in a prime position in first and sixth to try and take away as many points as you can. Laser is leading the championship by 6 points out of Fireblaze, 115-109. As Canadians in P3 with 105 points. Jensen's in P4 with 102. Rising Star 96, Nordus 96. Hurricane P7 with 71 points. Racing is 8th with 70 points. 9th is Drag with 62 points ahead of Beremi, who's got 51. Lagfall's at 11th ahead of Pocket Valley Guy, Glock, MDJ, Nico Rassenberg, Turbo, Samick, Krekab, Robin and Wilner. So here we are then, all 17 drivers line up on the grid then, ready for this race. It's a long dash down towards turn 1. Will it be chaotic? We're about to find out any given moment. Stay tuned for this race. It's going to be a mega one indeed, I hope, as well. Just waiting for the lights on the panels then, and we'll see who has a better start off the line. Majority of them are on the medium compound tyres, of course, the most preferred strategy here. But here we go then, just waiting for the lights, as it takes a long time. But finally, we could think about going racing then, because hopefully everything is sorted out. No major dramas so far. Look at that then. So there are the lights on top of the panels. It's 5 lights. And we are underway here at the Imola Grand Prix for round 9. It's foot to the floor already. Racing clears, Rising Star. And it's under massive pressure from Turbo behind as we head down towards turn 1, side by side between the two. Let's see which one of these two can make it out top to give each other a little space of room. And Pitbull Turbo moves himself up into P3. Beremi has lost the place towards Rising Star. Under pressure now is Dragon and Nico going side by side, with Beremi slipping back another place as well. So from P3 to P5, unfortunately, for the Red Bull drivers, Dragon just gets ahead of Ico. Now side by side in towards the second chicane, and Draugen takes away 5th place. So that's a very nice move around the outside indeed, as the Mercedes in the background gets all squirrely. And I'm not quite sure Daniel Way's Hurricane, but hopefully he's alright. But Ico almost lost it out of the first left move there. So a bit of a sketchy start for the Canadian driver in P8 there, as he tries to find the grip on the midi compound tyres, but the car looking very loose as well on the pit rear end of the car. But so far, Racing controls this race. The gap is 0.3 per second. DRS will be enabled on the next lap. Rising Star is P3, we can name him P4, Dragon P5, Beremi P6, Fireblaze is still P7 on the hardcore power tyres. Let's see if strategy pays dividends. Oscar and Volakongan have moved up 2 places apiece as well, so good start from them in 14th to 15th. But so far, clean start from everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't as chaotic as yesterday or Div 3 race, so everybody was able to get through nice and cleanly.
Indeed. Now headed towards the back straight we go. Anybody looking to go for an overtake? Fireblaze is thinking about an overtake on Beremi as he defends, puts his car in the middle of the road. Volakonga gets ahead of Laser, so Laser had a shocking start. He's pulling down to P13, and here comes Oscar now, looking to take advantage, going wheel to wheel with the Aston Martin driver, as Oscar does move himself up into P13 ahead of the Aston Martin then. So both Volakongan and Oscar are catching up, but they are the DRS train, and here comes Langford with the inside, but thinks better of it, and the backside as well. Fireblaze, Nordus, Winger and Laser on the best tyre in your opinion. So let's see if they are on the best tyre or not, because I know the strategy is usually mediums to hards, but we'll see. Are those tyre strategies going to pay dividends towards the end of the Grand Prix?
Or will we see rain towards the end like we did yesterday?
No signs of rain. It looks like it's very sunny and very sunny. Bright skies ahead of us as well, so that's good news for the drivers You can see all 17 drivers then in one shot heading down towards the Parabolica. Down the inside goes Kaname in a very obscure place. Goes up into P3. That was a fantastic move. Just went down the inside there. Right at the start, didn't really show any defence there. Probably caught him off guard. But here we are. The Kaname sets the fast up the Grand Prix. Here comes Pitbull Turbo. And here comes his own teammate Kaname as he puts himself into P2. And he gets shuffled backwards there into P3 with the Dosa DRS helping it to us. Oscar gets ahead of Olakongan as he puts himself into P12. These two are looking to try and get back in the train, which they have done. So mega pace there from Warner as well, as Mr. Joker is definitely pressurising there as well. Mr. Joker, here he is though, fighting with Nordus, trying to get himself up to the field, is the Hasman. Div 2 driver yesterday finished on the podium in second place, went from 20th to second. It was a mega drive there for Mr. Joker as well, really showed some fantastic pace in Division 2, but now he's hanging on to this DRS train in a 10th place as well. So let's see then how his progress unfolds in the next upcoming laps of the Grand Prix as well. But it might be a bit difficult to overtake, especially in the DRS train, because all of you have DRS. It is a battery killer as well in terms of defense and attacking as well. Like the ERS management will be difficult to manage as well, because a lot of people from behind will be using that battery to try and force people into overtaking as well and move themselves up the field. As we now head down towards Parabolica, it is Pitbull then who leads the Grand Prix as Kaname locks up going towards Parabolica. Will Racing decides to fight back as Mr. Joker does overtake Nordus then. So nice move there from Mr. Joker into P9, reminiscent of Kaname on Rising Star. Pitbull has set the fast up to the Grand Prix, but Mr. Joker does have the DRS now. He's under massive pressure. Ickle is ahead of Fireblaze. Mr. Joker is about to be overtaken by Nordus. He does. Nordus puts himself into P9 there ahead of the Haasman, trying to hold on to dear life against the Haas as Mr. Joker looks like he's got some really nice pace so far, as Malnus has fallen backwards. I think he went for a spin, did he? I'm not quite sure, he didn't. You'll see by lap 8 if hards are strong or not. Yeah, the hard compound tyres we know during the latter stage of the Grand Prix, let's say about lap 7 or 8, there'll be better tyre compound, so Fireblaze will have the advantage. But for me, I don't like starting the hard compound tyres because the mediums always feel shocking towards the end. I like to get the medium stint out of the way to go on the hard compound tyres later on in the Grand Prix to take them towards the end. That's usually my strategy. Oh, look at this. Rising Star gets a lovely launch at the second Lesbo, racing a bit squirrely on the exit there. Messed up his exit, but stays in front. All these cars follow through then. Adams is ahead and Langford puts himself into P15, does the RB driver, so it looks like Langford's had a problem because he's dropped a lot of places down to P16 and they're well away from this DRS train as well, as now we head towards Parabolica we go. Canane's not close enough towards Pitbull Turbo, but Racing is definitely closer there, so we try and force the move. What about the guys behind as well from Rising Star, Beremy and Jargon? Jargon once again, what a fantastic drive from the Saber drive, gained 3 places from 8th to 5th. And he overtook Beremy as well, somewhere on that lap, around the outside towards turn 1, like Oscar Piastri did on Lando Norris. Then Oscar gets ahead of Wilner. He puts himself into P11 now, side by side with Mr. Joker as he's forced to move on the outside towards turn 2. Remember Felipe Massa, and I think Mark Webber crashed there back in 2011. As now Oscar puts himself into P10. Somebody just tagged me in the chat saying, am I free? No, mate, I'm not free. I'm commentating, but Olakongan is ahead of Wilner. Would you like to respond to that chat, Tagabuka, for me? It's in the global chat, if you want to do that.
Yeah.
But anyways, here we are then. All these guys so close with the DRS as well on the medium compound tyres then. Just a high-speed game of chess so far in this Grand Prix. Just waiting for the pieces on the board to be moved about. And so far, race has been moved from first to third. That's the power of the DRS as well, but it will happen over and over again with drivers trading DRS there as they're looking, trying to find themselves in the sweet spot towards the last stages. I don't want to be first, by the way, if I was any of these guys on the last lap, but somebody has got to pay the sacrifice games, and we'll see who it is towards the end of the Grand Prix. But right now, Kaname is on the back of Pitbull Turbo, line up a move as Olakongan gets ahead of Mr. Joker, probably down at Parabolica. Here comes Kaname, side by side with Pitbull Turbo, as he now takes the lead of the Grand Prix there. So it's looking very good so far from the Alpine camp, as they're looking very strong during this season, especially Kaname racing. Oh, outbreaks himself and locks up on the entry towards turn number 1, but luckily keeps the car pointing in the right direction. Olakongan now gets past Mr. Joker, they're side by side. So unfortunately for Joker, who's been pushed back twice now by Olakongan and Oscar. And here comes Oscar on Nordus. The 2 Norwegians going side by side, but Oscar has the advantage as he puts himself into P9. Fantastic drive from Oscar and Olakongan so far in 6 laps. They're just making their way through the field one by one. as Oscar then looking to put the pressure on Fireblaze, who is on the hard compound tyres there. So his tyres, the crossover point between the hards and mediums will happen very soon in about 3 or 4 laps time, and that's when Fireblaze's tyres will come into play, and we'll see if that strategy works out for him as well, as Oscar is right behind, followed by Nordus and Volokongan as well. Those two making their way through the field very cleanly as well, it must be said, for both Oscar and Volokongan, as Kaname still leads this Grand Prix with Pitbull Turbo P2, and Rising Star is going side by side with Racing then. This is interesting, headed down towards Parabolica, drag race down here, but Racing's a bit deep on the brakes, makes the corner and stays in P3, but will Rising Star get a better exit? He had to lift off there, did Rising Star, because it looked like he was about to wander off the circuit, so I had to back off there just a bit. And now with the DRS wide open, gaining more top speed, about 340 kilometers slower, as we head down towards turn 1 we go. No moves being made so far, but look at this, the Sauber and the Red Bull getting very close for comfort down towards turn 1. It's a very heavy braking point, so expect a mass... Oh, Fireblaze is off the track down at turn 2. What on earth happened to Fireblaze there? Did he make contact with Oscar? I am not sure, but unfortunately his race has been ruined as he's been shuffled down to P14 now. Not quite sure what happened there with Oscar and himself, unless he dropped it by himself. What a shame for Fireblaze there in the P14, looking to do the hard stunt, of course, being in the DRS train, helping him to drag himself along on those hard compound tyres, looking to go to mediums later on as well, try and hunt down those guys who are going on from mediums to hards, but now it's not working well so far. Nordus is now the highest hard runner in P9 then, elongated that first stint, and it should be very interesting to see how his strategy works out towards the end, being on the fresher, better medium compound tyres as well. If he's able to stick in the DRS of these guys, he'll pay dividends later on in the Grand Prix, which he is doing just behind Oscar there, who's pressurising Ickle, as Oscar and Volokongan making their way through the field one by one as well, being very methodical in terms of their overtaking, planning the overtakes at the right time as well, making it very clean in unusual places. But here we are headed down towards Parabolica then. It is Kaname who is the leader of the Grand Prix, but once again Racing gets a bad exit. Rising Star loses traction on the exit of Parabolica, and Nish should get very tight headed down towards turn 1. Then Rising Star is forced to move on Racing. They go wheel to wheel, but I don't think Racing is really defending this much, unless he can't, of course, as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Looks like Racing got better straight line speed, but Rising Star is a bit later on the brakes, in towards turn 2, the side by side, in towards turn 2 we go now, and it looks like Rising Star does get P3. What an incredible move there from Rising Star. Up into P3 he goes then, chases down Pitbull. Pitbull was almost side by side there with Kaname as we head down towards the second chicane. Don't want to go side by side there as Sebastian Vettel back in 2018 when he got spun around, unfortunately. He tangled up with Lewis Hamilton that day. But now it's getting very interesting in the stage of the Grand Prix, because these medium compound tyres will start to fade away, of course. The grip will be very bad on this stage of the Grand Prix on the mediums, and therefore these guys will start to suffer and slide around then. So who can manage their tyres in the opening stint in the Grand Prix? We might see some pit stops in a few laps time as well from these drivers, but both Alpines, one of them has got to stay out later than the other. We'll see which one it is, Kaname or Racing. You expect Kaname to pit first in terms of Racing because he's down in P4, has preferential track position, but Oscar now side by side with Ickle. Here he is though, forced to move on the back straight as he puts himself into P7 there, gaining on the Red Bull as well, as he now muscles his way past into P7, but looks like Ickle is still on the inside there. Can he get a better exit there? Oscar, we're about to find out now as they head on the main straight once again. It's a track race and a battery race as well, as Oscar wins in that battle with the battery as well. But here comes Volokongan in the Ferrari as well. Here comes Oscar on Beremy as he puts himself into P6, but no, Beremy a bit late to the brakes there. Very brave indeed around the outside. Can he stick it around the outside? But Oscar should have better exit on the outside of turn 2. And now here comes Volokongan, who is so close there to take out the rear wing or the rear tyre of Beremy as well. This has been a mighty drive so far from Oscar, who's up into P6 just behind his teammates of Jargon as well. How hard will the Cyber Boys play it out as well? Oscar and Volokongan chopping and chasing the bit there, making their way through the field. One driver at a time, and the company in P6 and in P8 as well. So looking very good for those two Shizou boys down there. But let's see, will it be harder now? Because he's caught up towards the faster end of the grid. Will it be harder to try and fight these guys? We're about to find out, as Pitbull is right behind Kaname, but not willing to go for an overtake just yet. You can see he has saved up 100% battery, ready to attack him later on in the Grand Prix. Will that be now or later? Who knows? But let's see then how he plays this out. Will he stay behind him? As Mr. Joker's fallen backwards, he's spun in towards Ascari. Unfortunately, Volokongan is ahead of Beremy. I pretend I didn't see that from Mr. Joker, because you're not allowed to do that. But anyways, here we are headed down our Parabolica on the main straight we go. DRS wide open then Let's see any changes here in the field. DRS will be enabled right now, of course. Let's see Pitbull Turbo goes for a move. He will go for a move, gets the overspeed as he puts himself into the lead of the Grand Prix. Further back, we did see Volokongan overtake. And here he is, down towards tail one. That's Dragon versus Volokongan. Oscar got past Dragon as well. As Volokongan musters his way past, going side by side with the Sauber driver. Sauber gets out of shape. And Remy takes back 7th place away from Dragon then. So Dragon went from P5 to P8 in a few corners time, unfortunately, after he tried to brave it out with the 2 guys ahead of him, but couldn't quite do it.
We've also had Ickel and Melners coming to the pits onto their hard compound tyres. So I wonder if they're trying to do an undercut strategy with everybody else ahead on mediums.
When you're stuck in a DRS train, you look for other options, and certainly that Ickel is looking for an option to do the undercut on these guys. Undercut can be massive as well around this circuit with the tyre degradation, but Ickel then has gone for the undercut, the one of the first drivers to pit in this train. Will he rejoin ahead of this train? We're about to find out. Has the undercut worked for him? Let's see then. He wants to put himself further along the grid, try and get the best possible chance of winning, because when you're in a DRS train on the medium compound tyres, it's just so difficult to get past. So you might as well try something different by going for the undercut early and see if it pays you back towards the end of the Grand Prix. But we might see some people pit on this lap. Let's see then. And Pitbull Turbo dummies me. He doesn't pit, but behind us does. It's Racing who is in the pit lane then. So Racing's gone for an early pit stop as Oscar is right behind Rise to start. Here comes Kaname on Pitbull Turbo. Oscar takes away P2. No, he doesn't, because the McLaren driver is a bit late to the brakes there, stays in P2. I thought Oscar for one moment would try and get 2 for 1, but Oscar, or Pitbull, saw him coming as Dragon gets ahead on Nordis, so side by side at turn 2. Nordis just gets past. We expect Nordis' tyres to be a bit better than the guys ahead, especially on the all medium compound tyres as well. So there is Ickel making his way down the main straight. He didn't get the undercut on Racing, but that's how close it is, you know. So he might get the undercut on the guys ahead when they pit. So he's not too far behind. Is Ickel behind Racing Imola as well? So let's see if Ickel could try and put himself up the grid when these guys start to pit. But look at Oscar looking very feisty indeed. A very, very strong drive so far from Oscar and Volokongan, making their way to the field as they love to do. Same with Azara as well, but we're headed down towards the Scarlet. I wonder if any of these guys are going to pit now to respond to the undercut threat from Racing in P30. There'll be a trade effect, but look at Oscar getting a much better exit out of Scarlet there, but you can see that Pitbull Turbo used a bit of battery to try and keep himself in front of him. But I wonder, will these guys now dive off into the pit lane to put on another set of hardcore power tyres? Let's have a look then. I think they will get the pit lane. Kaname is, and here comes Rise and Star. So those two had enough of their medium compound tyres as they come into the pits as well, responding. So Oscar is right behind Pitbull Turbo. Pitbull Turbo has DRS as well as we go down towards turn 1. Is there a move? No, it's not. Pitbull Turbo a bit late on the brakes there, going down towards turn 1 and turn 2. Volokongan now promoted to P3. And let's see, where does Racing rejoin? He should rejoin ahead of this duo here, as he pitted early and was in the lead of the Grand Prix for a bit as well. So let's see, can he get the undercut on those guys? They've just come out of the pit lane right now. He might not get the undercut, but here he is then. He does, just though, ahead of his teammate as we head down towards turn 1. Would they go side by side in towards turn 1 and turn 2? And they do. And he's still around the outside there, as here comes Ickel now, forced in his battle, but has to stay behind Kaname for the time being. And I thought both RP drivers would mess up their own race as they tried to fight the guys ahead. But stepping on their own tails is not a good way to go, especially when they've got all in hands. Both RP drivers doing a very strong job so far. Volokongan is right behind Oscar. Look at this then, a move for the lead. Volokongan takes the lead, 2 for 1, as he puts himself into first place. Fantastic move for Volokongan. Got the overspeed on Oscar, and also got the overspeed of Pitbull. And now Volokongan leads this Grand Prix ahead of the McLaren drive, with Oscar right behind the P3 as well. How long are these guys going to extend their stint in the medium compound tyres? Are they going to pit this lap or just wait out even longer to have the best tyres towards the end? Let's have a look right now, as here comes Oscar, here comes Pitbull in the pit lane. Getting contact between the two as well.
And Ickel with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings.
The first driver in the field then to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Where does Volokongan rejoin in comparison towards both RP drivers, as Fireblaze is ahead of Wilner? They're side by side out of the corner towards turn 2, but most importantly, Where is Racing? Has he rejoined? There he is then on the right hand side. As you can see, here comes Mercedes, and here comes Caname as well, gaining on his own teammate as we head down towards turn 1 we go. Side by side between the two Alpines there. Let's see if they're nice and clear. Look at this battle going on between all these front running cars as it's the two Mercedes going side by side, Rising Star and Ickle scrapping away there for P11 and P12. So two Alpines, two Mercedes and a Ferrari of Volokongren in P13, who's actually ghosted because Pitbull is inside of him, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there between the two of them. So Pitbull gets ahead of the ghosted car of Volokongren. Hopefully he turns solid once again. He does turn solid. So Pitbull just got ahead of him before he turned back to solid. There must have been contact at the turbo between Volokongren and Pitbull there to merit a ghost for Volokongren. And yeah, this is fantastic race indeed from all these guys, but it might get hectic towards the end of the Grand Prix. So keep your eyes peeled towards the end, because that's when it gets spicy indeed, with all these drivers then desperate to make their moves, as Fireblaze now is right behind Nordus as he takes the provisional lead of the Grand Prix. We've got more people pitted, including Oscar and Bear then, so they're pitted onto a brand new set of the hardcore power tyres going towards the end on this stint. And let's see, where will they rejoin? I presume at the back of the field with the power of the undercut so far. So they'll be back at the DRS trade, but with the fresher tyres, it could certainly benefit them towards the end. So here comes the pair out of the pit lane then, as it's foot to the floor, as we see the Alpine and the Mercedes racing down towards turn 1 we go, as here comes Ickle up the inside of Racing, as the Sauber of Oscar tries to slot into his position there with side by side with Pitbull, but Racing just stays ahead of Ickle for the time being then. Oscar has rejoined right behind Rising Star, and here comes Pitbull versus Volokongren then, going wheel to wheel as Volokongren muscles his way past McLaren, now side by side with Oscar as we head down towards the second chicane, as they keep it nice and clean. Then the Sauber just breaks later there as Volokongren tries to go around the outside but couldn't quite do so and has to stay in P12. This is a mega fight so far between all these competitive drivers here. So Dragon is the only one yet to pit from his midi-comp power tyres. The rest of the hard, of course, so go for that longer stint to go towards the midi-comp power tyres towards the end. So we expect him to pit just yet in this race, as it's a bit too early on the hardcore power tyres. But still, I don't think their strategy is the right strategy indeed, unless the safety car comes up right now. Fireblaze has pitted quite early to go on the midi-comp power tyres. So it's the pit lane comes Fireblaze, it's the pit lane comes Dragon to complete his first stint in the midi-comp power tyres. Ickle is ahead of Racing then, in towards Parabolic. Can we go? A bit of contact there between the two, but Ickle gets past the RP driver as he puts himself into P8 now. That's a fantastic move. We've seen plenty of moves being made down the Parabolica, but here comes Racing with the DRS and the battery as well. Puts himself into P6 again, and what about Oscar behind? Will he follow through? No, he won't. So Racing then takes away P6 ahead of the Mercedes driver. We go down towards turn 1. Ickle still there on the outside, converted to the inside. Who can get better traction? It is Ickle on the inside who has better traction out of turn 2, as is able to keep in front of Racing.
So as we see, the top 4s are still out and they still have to pit, but they might pit a lot later than the others have.
Racing got past Ickle around the outside in towards the second chicane. What an incredible move there. These two chopping the changes at the bit, constantly swapping places there. Keep it nice and clean as well. So fantastic battles going on for the whole field. 17 drivers still remain in this race as well, for good measure. And now we've got Oscar right to the back of Rising Star. Here he is there, puts himself into P8. Here comes Volokongren taking advantage as well. Volokongren is up into P9 ahead of the Mercedes driver. Fireblaze has rejoined P13 then, right behind this battle. So let's see, can he use his midi-comp power tyres to his advantage? Here comes Volokongren now, side by side with Oscar. The two Shizou boys going wheel to wheel, and here comes Ickle on Racing as we head down towards Parabolic. We go 2 by 2, and it looks like Ickle gets himself into P6, but a bit of a snap on the exit there, as we can see Volokongren looking for a move on Racing as they go side by side with the DRS wide open. All these guys being so close together. Look at this, it's almost 3 abreast. On the straight we go, the Ferrari's in the middle. Here comes Oscar trying to go down the inside in towards turn 1. Oscar doesn't get the move done, but the Alpine is looking to go back down the inside of the McLaren driver. What a fantastic move again for Volokongren. Up into P2 we go, side by side with Racing and Ickle we go. That's a very intense moment going down the main straight there, because almost 4 abreast going down there. Any contact? No, it didn't, because all these guys kept it unscathed. But Fireblaze now rejoins on the back of this battle. Nordus on the brand new set of midi-comp power tyres in P10 as well. So looking good for him. He's on the better midi-comp power tyres. We'll see. Can he take them towards the end and use them to his advantage? Try and hunt down these guys on the hardcore power tyres. cracking race so far, and we've still got a long way left to go. But racing has dropped out the DRS range though, so that could be very critical now. As the top 4 are able to pull away, and here comes Ickle now on the back of the RP drivers. There's been a split in the field there, as racers are able to keep in DRS range. Must have been a mistake somewhere on that lap, so it's down towards the top 4 to decide who wins this Grand Prix. One big battle transformed into a 4-way battle now, as the rest of the guys start to struggle in the second stint then, as the guys continue to progress. Oscar and Volokongan, who started down, Oscar started down in 16th place, and Volokongan started in 17th place, literally last in the field as well. So what a fantastic comeback drive for both of them, just making their way to the field as well, being very clean, being very patient, choosing the moments at the right time. And we look to see what happens for the leader of the Grand Prix. Ickle gets past Rise of Star. Racing's dropped back 4 places, so he was really vulnerable down the straight. But he's side by side with Remy going towards turn 1 and turn 2. But a bit of contact made between those two. Fireblade right behind on the mini compound tyre, so he's looking to get past these guys immediately. Doesn't want to afford to waste any time being stuck behind those guys on the hard compound tyres then. So he needs to make his way through while the tyre life is still in his advantage. So
yeah, sorry about that.
You go ahead.
Oscar as Pip. Never mind.
What's up with Oscar?
I thought Oscar and Pipple broke DRS with each other, but they've got back into DRS zones now. As Volokongan has overtaken Kaname for the lead of the Grand Prix as well.
We've seen a lot of different moves into different places. Arnoldus gets himself a 3, a second tap on 2. We've seen a lot of moves there into unconventional overtaking places, but they're making it stick as well. No contacts made, but Kaname is side by side almost. He's right behind Volokongan with a dose of DRS. You expect this to be an easy move. There is 10 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Volokongan and Oscar have already got a win this season. Kaname is still looking for his first win, and Pitbull Turbo looking for his first podium or win. But here comes Kaname now on the back of Volokongan as we level peg down towards turn 1 we go, as Kaname just inches in forwards there as he puts himself into P1, lead of the Grand Prix. Rise of Star gets ahead of Ickle, so both Mercedes have been detached after Rise of Star's mistake, struggling to stay the DRS. Look at this battle going on between Fireblaze, Nordus and Racing as well. Racing's dropped back a lot of places. It was really looking good for him so far for Racing, but unfortunately the pole sitter has dropped back so much he's outside the top 10. His pace has completely gone, unfortunately, as well. That's his biggest problem, his biggest kryptonite this season, where Racing in his race pace just doesn't seem to have the edge over the rest of the guys. He struggles to stay within DRS as well, so what a massive shame there for the RP driver, who really did shine in qualifying. As we head back towards the top 4 between Kaname, Volokongan, Oscar, all in hot pursuit of each other, a high-speed game of chess as it's called, waiting to put the pieces move around the board there. But now we are making our way towards the score. Here we go, with Kaname in P1, Volokongan in P2, Oscar P3, with Pitbull in P4 as well. The battle for the lead is between these 4. Let's see which one of these 4 will win the Grand Prix then. How will they play out towards the end? As we head then on the main straight, Oscar using the EOS there as he's trying to overtake Volokongan then, as we go side by side between the 2 Norwegian drivers. Oscar now puts himself to P2, but here comes Oscar around the outside in towards turn 1. Kaname move very late, so Oscar then from P3 to P1. The power of the DRS certainly working in his favour, as look at this battle go down towards turn 1. It's Fireblaze versus Remy, as Fireblaze gets a better exit on the outside towards turn 2. There's a Haas who's been shown the grass there. The exit of turn 2, that's Milner. He's spun! He's on the wall! I'm not quite sure what happened there, as Volokongan gets past Kaname. He puts himself into P2 now, ahead of the RP driver, but there's big contact, I think, between Laser and Winger as well, which caused him to go in the gravel, unfortunately. And that's his race win there as well, P13.
But luckily he didn't suffer from any damage after that spin, even though he did hit the barrier quite hard as well.
Did as well, but here comes Pitbull Turbo now. Will he force to move down? He is. Oh, they make contact! They're in the wall! What has happened there? Kaname's off the track completely now, as Kaname then rejoins in P4, has to take on the glass section there. But contact has been made between Pitbull and Kaname. Pivotal moment in this Grand Prix as well. Now it's down towards Volokongan and Oscar once again. A very weird crash going down towards Ascari there. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Did they both tag wheels? I think they did. Now Volokongan is right behind Oscar, who sets the fast up the Grand Prix. Volokongan pulls out to the right hand side to reclaim the lead of the Grand Prix. Now it's down to these 2. Volokongan beat Oscar on the last lap of the Grand Prix in Singapore. Can Oscar return the favour and get it back this race in Monza?
Yeah, Oscar has to play this quite smart. He either wants to foul Volakongan and let everybody else catch up, or just stick behind him and work with him, and possibly try and overtake him on the final lap.
Yeah, that was the strategy last time at Oscar as well, but unfortunately DRS was disabled because the wet conditions disabled it, and therefore he wasn't able to open the rear wing to get him down towards turn 7. But Oscar, learning his mistake from last week, can he get his first win of the season? The Shizou man in P2 currently teammates with Volakongan in PSGL F1 so far this season as well. Pitbull is not able to catch up, so those two have been left in the dust there. Go off into the sunset to decide which one of these two will win the Grand Prix, Volakongan or Oscar's. Looking very, very strong so far between these two. Very good friends indeed. They're very close to each other, and I'm pretty sure their concentration is trying to finish in P1 ahead of each other. So I think you're quite quiet the party now between those two, as they're probably just in the party working together. But now the first and second, it's every man to himself as we head on the main straight once again. So Kaname's under massive pressure there. He's fallen into the clutches of the two Mercedes, so not recovering from that spin as Oscar takes the lead of the Grand Prix once again. Further backwards, we've got Ickle side by side with Kaname as he puts himself into P4. Unfortunately, Ickle does have a second time penalty. Down the inside goes Fireblaze in towards tail on the turn 2. Nice move there, but can he complete it against Rising Star? He can, as he puts himself into P6. Then the Ferrari driver on a charge so far, but how will his mediums fare towards the end? Maybe the crossover point between the mediums and hards will start to happen again as we see that Rising Star looking for a move, but there's no way past the Ferrari as he puts the car in the middle of the road to try and counteract it.
Yeah, also Oscar is on 1 lap fresher hards than Volakongan, which is helping him out a bit.
It is indeed. Pitbull Turbo then looking on course for a podium, but what will the stewards say about that crash heading down towards Iscari? It just looked very weird from my point of view. Oh, Pitbull Turbo just almost lost it out of Iscari. Oh, there's a Red Bull spun! Bear with me! Oh, has spun unfortunately down towards Iscari where Sebastian Vettel spun in 2019. And what a dismal race as well. What a dismal race for Beremy in P14. He's just been suffering this season, can't seem to catch a break. A fantastic qualifying, down into towards P14 now, behind his teammate, in front of his teammate, as Volakongan then retains the lead of the Grand Prix. Backwards is Kaname, looking to try and make his way back to the field, but he puts himself into P4. What about Fireblaze as well? Here comes Fireblaze, side by side with Ickle. Outbreaks him in towards tail on the turn 2. Let's see, can he get his rival? He can. Fireblaze with a sensational move once again puts himself into P5, chases down Kaname. I don't know if the podium is still in the question or not for Fireblaze. He's looking really quick. Can Fireblaze dispatch Kaname and get on the podium, catch after towards Pitbull Turbo? Can he do it?
Yeah, Fireblaze and Kaname would have to work with each other to catch up with 5 laps left to go of this Grand Prix.
Let's see if they do that or not, but I'm pretty sure that Kaname's not thinking about that. But these two have been fighting so hard. Singapore, Hungary, Belgium. Every time these two are together, always fantastic. And Kaname has beaten Fireblaze 3-0 every single 3 times they've been together on the track. And that's all been for a podium as well. Fireblaze has been denied the podium from Kaname the whole time. Fireblaze will be looking to take advantage of that because he's on a better medium compound tyres, doing the ultimate strategy. Should he get past Kaname right now in towards turn 1, then catch after Pitbull Turbo. So Pitbull Turbo's podium might not be secured just yet in 3rd place there. Could be under threat very shortly from the fast charging Fireblaze in P5. The hard speeding strategy has worked in his favour, has been making overtakes left, right and centre. Oscar right behind and ahead of Volakongan going down before turn number 1. But all eyes on Fireblaze. There he is, gaining with a straight line speed as he puts himself into P4. In front of us is the McLaren driver of Turbo now. Fireblaze in a really good spot now, trying to take away Pitbull's chance of a first podium.
Yeah, Fireblaze is on the mediums and on 8 laps old, and Pitbull on hard on 10 laps old tyres. So Fireblaze with the quickest tyre and in DRS range already.
He is indeed, so he's used those mini compound tyres to his advantage, brought the gap down under a second and a dose of DRS, but will he want to overtake him quickly or will he want to stay behind him because his mini compound tyres could fade away towards the latter stages of this race as well. So will he play the tactical game, just sit behind? Oh, Volakongan! Volakongan has got a second tyre penalty, and Oscar will have a big chance to get his first win of the season. And what a massive shame for Volakongan, playing with the track limits. He validated there in qualifying, and once again Ascari has caught him out unfortunately as well. So Oscar then will have a big chance of winning, unless he picks himself up a 3-second penalty. So no pressure for Oscar so far, but Volokongan will just take the lead for pride on the track. He knows he's lost this race. The only bet for him is that Oscar picks himself up a 3-second penalty as well. But look at this though, Fireblaze, what will he do? Will he try and regenerate that battery towards the end and try and use it on Pitbull Turbo in front of him as well? Will he play this tactically and sit behind him, ready to checkmate him in the last few laps of the Grand Prix? We'll see then. So, Pitbull Turbo, despite breaking free on DRS early on in the Grand Prix, has now Fireblaze for company right behind as well, who is looking for his first podium of the season. Can he finally get it after being denied 3 times as well? Fireblaze is desperate and hungry for a podium, and can he do it for the Tifosi? It could be a double Ferrari podium here with Volokongan in P2 and Fireblaze in potential in P3 as well. So double glory there for Ferrari. Let's see if Fireblaze can do it or not.
But it also opens the podium position up to Kaname and possibly the other people behind as well, if they can push through the field quickly within these last 3 laps of the race.
Racing picks himself up a 3-second penalty. Nodus gets ahead of Laser is ahead of Nodus, but Nodus had a problem with Ascari unfortunately, and that's cost him dearly. He's dropped back a few places, but look at these guys, so bunched up. Fireblaze obviously waiting for that DRS there as he wants to put himself into P3, but the problem is for Fireblaze, Kaname is still pressurising him as well. He still knows there's a podium on the cards as Pitbull Turbo is about to be swamped down the straight as Fireblaze goes up into P3. Here comes Mercedes of Ickle now, taking advantage of the McLaren as we head down towards turn 1. Massive overspeed there, the 3 abreast down towards turn 1. Now Kaname side by side with the Mercedes driver, bit of contact there between the two, and here comes the other Mercedes of Rise and Star. Look to take advantage as this battle continues out of the first 2 corners. Look at this then, look at how aggressive they are. Ickle versus Pitbull Turbo as they bang wheels. Pitbull Turbo puts himself into P5 ahead of the Mercedes driver there, so we got all messy down there for Pitbull Turbo. He got double overtaken by Fireblaze and Kaname, but look at Fireblaze. Fireblaze has broken the DRS gap. Can he keep it that way? The gap is 9 tenths only, just as Fireblaze pushes so hard to get himself out of DRS range, but not yet, because Kaname still manages to hold it on there. This battle is going to go down to the wire in terms of P3. We know who's won the Grand Prix, to be pragmatic. Oh, Turbo! Turbo picks himself up 3-second time, so the only podium chance for him has gone. But this is round 4 between Fireblaze and Kaname, as Fireblaze has been beaten 3 times in a row against Kaname. Can he finally get his payback here in Monza? Can he finally get a podium this season? He'll be looking to do that so far. Kaname, who's had a mighty runs of P2s and P3s this season. Volokongan takes the lead of the Grand Prix again as he puts himself into first. But Kaname now with the DRS on the back of Fireblaze. I think Fireblaze wants him to overtake. You can see him backing off massively there. He does not want to go for the overtake immediately, knowing that to be out dragged towards in the Grand Prix. This time the two Mercedes go side by side in towards turn 1 and turn 2, bit of contact between those two there. Ickle losing traction, Rise and Star falling backwards as there's more contact down there too. What's happened? Laser is dropping backwards to a Haas, I think he's going for a spin down the turn 1 and turn 2, so bit of problems going on there between all the drivers here as Laser now tries to force a move on Rise and Star, but has to stay behind it for the time being. Oh, Ickle goes a bit wide out of the second chicane there, almost dips the wheel in the gravel, but keeps it pointing in the right directions. But it's coming up towards the last lap of the Grand Prix. Fireblaze surely doesn't want to be beaten 4-0 towards Kaname. He needs to try everything he can to keep that LP driver behind once and for all. Oh, Oscar! Oscar gets a 3-second time penalty. They're back on a level playing field, so the battle for the lead is back on between the drivers. Kaname's right behind Fireblaze, but he won't go for the move just yet. It'll happen down towards turn 1 we go. But look at this then. It's the battle between first place between Volokongan versus Oscar. We're heading on towards the final lap of the Grand Prix. Oscar right behind Volokongan with the DRS and battery in use. Here he is then side by side with the Ferrari. DRS is enabled as Oscar takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Kaname is into P3. Here comes Pitbull Turbo as well, taking advantage of both of them. Kaname did not get DRS. Here comes Fireblaze back on Kaname as he's up into P4 now. So Kaname overtook him before the DRS line as Fireblaze is down the inside into towards turn 1. He makes a mistake. There's contact between those two there as Fireblaze stays on the track in P4. Surely now, big chance for him to get the podium now with Kaname in P5. But he's trying to use the battery to get past the McLaren driver, but he's not able to do so. Then has to stay behind the McLaren for the time being. Then can Fireblaze finally beat Kaname. As we head down towards the second chicane, we go one more dose of DRS, and let's see what happens going down towards Ascari or Parabolic. This time, Volokongan has the DRS on the back of Oscar. Here he is, that Oscar has been demoted into P2 because Volokongan had the last dose of DRS. But look at these guys so close behind. Pitbull Turbo is going to get messy down towards the score here. Let's see what happens. Fireblaze goes to the overtake. Oh, there's almost contact there. Here comes Kaname side by side as he takes back P3. But Fireblaze around the outside. There's contact between the two. Fireblaze goes off the track there as he has to take to escape mode. But Kaname is right behind with more batteries side by side with the RP. But the Ferrari has no battery whatsoever. Look at this. The Mercedes is coming through as well. Right as the store. Around the outside in towards Parabolo Rico. It's going to get chaotic headed down there. Multicore scrap going out towards as Volokongan wins ahead of Oscar. But look at this then. It's Kaname on the podium. Dragon gets through. Laser gets through. Up into P5 and P6. Wow, what it ended towards that Grand Prix there. It is Volokongan who wins ahead of Oscar, and Kaname beats Fireblaze 4-0. Fireblaze can't catch a break from Kaname whatsoever. He's been beaten again 4-0 between those two. It's always intense when you see these two go at it at the final lap of the final corner as well. But unfortunately for Fireblaze, he made the strategy work, but unfortunately Kaname was his biggest problem. Wow. What a race.
Wow.
Time to calm my voices down.
Yeah, I came alive towards the last few laps of the race, especially that last one.
I did as well. What a fantastic race that was between all the drivers there. Pitbull Turbo's left the group chat, so I don't think he might be coming back. He's very frustrated for the time being then. But we do see a Ferrari stand on top of the podium here. It is Volokongan who gets his third win this season. Fantastic. After Belgium, after Singapore, he wins in Monza. He won in Belgium, he wins in Monza. We didn't quite see the battle between those two because there was a massive battle going from P3 downwards. That was a fantastic scrap indeed. But it is Volokongan who wins the Grand Prix ahead of Oscar. Oscar has been beaten twice now against Volokongan. Kaname finishes a P3 ahead of Fireblaze. Laser up into P5 as well. Great recovery drive from Laser as well. Up into P5 from 11th place. Rising Star finishes a P6. A disappointing one must be said for him as well into P6. Wasn't really aggressive enough as Dragon once again another good result there for the Sauber. Pitbull Turbo in 8th ahead of Nordus. Ico P10 racing the P11. Wona P12 ahead of Berami. Adams, Monus, Mr. Joker and Langford. So once again, it's not really a good day for Red Bull drivers because they finish towards the back end of the field then. Well, it's hard to say driver of the day because Volokongan and Oscar made their way through. I really hate decided driver of the day because a lot of people hate me for it. So I'm going to try and find a way to make sure I'm unbiased. But I do believe one person has joined at the interviews then. So we'll just wait for Volokongan and Oscar to arrive. But we'll start with you, Kaname. Kaname, mate, welcome back. It's another podium as well. Your fourth podium of the season. Once again, you had to defend. It's always close between you and Fireblaze. What is going on between you and Fireblaze? Because you always seem to get close together on the track. You beat him 4-0 again.
Yeah, dude, it was a crazy battle at the end. No, the race was pretty good. There was a little incident with I think it was a McLaren, I think Turbo, if I'm not mistaken.
It was Turbo.
I think we like locked tires in the straight or something like that. I have to relook at it, but yeah, no, pretty fun race. Monza's always hectic, so you're always gonna have those incidents, but yeah, no, I'll definitely take P3.
Yeah, definitely indeed. And there was a very, very climatic race towards the Grand Prix because it looked like for one moment it was you who might have a podium. Then it was Fireblaze. I thought Fireblaze was in the best place, but you managed to store your EOS at the right time in the right place and out drag him towards Parabolic. That was very critical indeed. How intense was that battle? Were you getting very nervous as well? Because the pressure must be so high because there were so many people right behind you on the final lap of the Grand Prix. The pressure must be ramping up as well.
Yeah. When I saw, I think there were like 4 wide behind me. It was crazy to look at. But yeah, no, I saved a bit more ERS than the Fireblaze, and I got him at the end.
You seem to be getting a lot of podiums, Kaname, but when are you going to get your first with the season? Because you have looked very strong as well. You look very strong in the second stint when it comes to attacking people as well. You're very good at attacking at the right time as well. Very good with time management. Your teammate did struggle as well. So when you saw your teammate up there, were you working together in the first part of the strategy, trying to communicate with each other, see what happens, or were you just going for a free-for-all?
Yeah, I was trying to help him a little bit after I pitted. He was struggling a little bit on the hards, but it was enough to keep up. And I don't know what happened to the end. I think he just got into a little incident and fell off. But yeah, I was definitely trying to help him out and when I pitted. It was it was cool because he got pole, so I was trying my best to help him. I know he's quick, so.
You're currently P3 in the championship. You're only 10 points away from Laser, but that could change. You could potentially lead the Grand Prix, lead the championship after this Grand Prix, after this race as well. Funnily enough, the guy who's leading the championship has 0 wins. It's Jens who's got 3 wins this season, but he's down to P4 after missing a couple of races. So your season is really starting to come alive. Are you starting to think more about the championship in the later stage of the season?
Yeah, the less points of a gap it is, it's definitely looking like I'm having a push for the championship, and it's gonna be a good battle between all of them. It's pretty close, so excited to what's next. So to the next races and all that stuff.
You really start to show some fantastic, consistent performances as well. And those consistent performances gain you good rewards as well. So, still searching for his first win, but nevertheless, doing a really good job. Your first win was at the Japanese Grand Prix, because I remember your teammate Bobby like that. You picked up a few podiums. I know you were a challenger as well ever since you started coming to the league, because you've been really, really quick as well. And it's proven to be this season, your pace continues to be quicker and quicker and better as well. You barely seem to get any contact except with Turbo, but yeah, you just planning your moves at the right time, doing a fantastic job, and yeah, well done today, mate. P3.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, mate. Yeah, kind words. Yeah, it was a good race.
We could talk more because Oscar and Volakongan are not here, so we can have a little bit of a podcast with you, Kane. What has been your strengths and weaknesses this season? What's been your strongest races and what's been your weakest?
I think my strongest is probably consistency. I'm not really quick on every track. Like, I'm not the quickest. I'm not really good at qualifying usually. I think today I qualified P6 and I got P3 at the end. At one point I was leading the race, which is really exciting. But Volakongan and Oscar just too quick for me, man. They're another league, and I tried to keep up with them, but that incident with Turbo kind of make that go away. But yeah, I think my strongest is probably my consistency. It's definitely been proven with the podiums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And my weaknesses are probably quali. I'll say probably quali. If I like, I think if I improved by like 1/10, I would have gotten P2 or P3, but I started P6. So yeah, it's just how close it is nowadays in these races. So yeah, I think weakness is definitely quali.
Like I said, qualifying may be your weakness, but at least you have the pace to back it up during the Grand Prix, because I know familiar stories being told by people where they're not strong in qualifying, but they come back strong in the race as well. How's your setup? What's your setup like? Do you grab it from Tire Trial and tweak it a little bit? Or like, do you make your own setups? What setups do you use going towards the race?
I make my own setups. This one I usually go into Time Trial and like get like a base setup.
Yeah.
Right? And then I work around it until I like find a sweet spot. Usually takes an hour or two to get like a good setup. Of course nowadays, like I already have the setups from like, because it's like we've been in this game for quite a few months now, so I've got the setups already, so I don't have to spend time on them anymore. But yeah, I do make my own setups. I do. They are. Monza's quite an interesting one, to be fair, on the setup, because you gotta have low wings, so you can't have too much high wings. But you can't have too low, because then you'll suffer in sector 2. So
you're just trying to find the balance between a good setup as well, not taking too much downforce out, or not adding too much speed.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Kaname. You've done a fantastic job today. Nice to speak to you once again. And we can ask more questions if you want, because the top 2 aren't here, so you can have as much time as you want here, Kaname, if you want to talk about anything. But how do you feel for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, which is next week?
It's definitely, I'll say, one of my weakest tracks. But there's always hopefully I can make something. going on in that track. Abu Dhabi's always been a weak spot for me every year. So, but yeah, hopefully I do good and hopefully I'll lead the championship, man. First
Yeah,
time.
you got 4 podiums this season as well. You've been on a streak of podiums as well. Fantastic from your point of view as well. And what's your thoughts going towards the next upcoming races? Then it's like, is the championship gonna affect you in any way? Are you good in championship fights? Do you are you able to stay composed or calm? What do you think about? What's your thought processes going towards the races now?
Just be consistent. Just keep getting points. Don't DNF. Just keep getting points. Don't DNF. Just get top 5s. I mean, like the usual stuff you need to do. I'm just gonna go into the race, not even think about a championship. I would just treat it like a whole another race, normal race like I did this week. But yeah, no, it was it's definitely gonna be interesting. That's for sure. Because if you DNF, you lose so much points. Like in Austria, if I'm not mistaken, I DNF in Austria, and if I didn't DNF there, I would probably be leading the championship right now. So, but yeah, for sure, definitely could be interesting.
Thank you very much as well. As Tiger Buka, you got any questions for Kanane you'd like to ask him?
Nope. I think I've covered everything.
Well, you don't want to ask him how his day been.
It's been good, by the way.
Well, anyways, thank you so much, Kanane, for joining us in the podium interviews. Nice to hear from you, and good luck in the next upcoming races too. It'll be a very spicy championship fight between Laser, Fireblade, yourself, Jensen, Rising Star as well, potentially Nodus, maybe Hurricane if he starts to fight his form once again. But that's it for the Italian Grand Prix this week in Monza. We move on to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It is Div 4 for Charlie Smith, Div 3 for Owen Smith and Tiger Buka, Division 2 for Simo and myself. Hopefully she's back with me next week. And Division 1 between Owen Mansour, potentially, and myself as well. But we got something to talk about as well when it comes to streaming once again on Tuesday, because the Australian Grand Prix will be underway this Sunday as well. I cannot wait for it. Kadeem, how are you feeling for the Australian Grand Prix this Sunday? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm very, very excited for it. Looking to see how Ferrari goes into the season and Williams. I think they're the big talking points right now. I mean, we know McLaren is probably the best car, has the best car, but yeah, I think Ferrari and Williams are my two teams I'm gonna be looking at this season. Well, at the start of the season. Very excited though. Very excited.
Me too. I cannot wait for it. So, in a few days' time, practice, qualified, and the race for the Australian Grand Prix. We've started very early morning. The race will start on 4 a.m. At the Australian Grand Prix, like it was last year as well. But what will happen in the first race of the season, because it's supposed to be raining as well, so let's see if that spices things up. Rain in the first race of the season, back in 2010 as well. I remember the rain hit the circuit and qualifying as well after Fernando Alonso, I think, collided with Michael Schumacher on that day, got spun around. But anyways, we move on to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix next week. Join us back then, and Tiger Buka, once again, pleasure to commentate with you, mate. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yep, I did enjoy it. Unfortunately for the Australian race this Sunday, I can't watch it because I'm at work.
Me too, mate. I do feel your pain. Me too. Anyways, that's it from us. We'll see you all next Wednesday for Division 1 at 7:30 at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We'll see what happens there. Stay tuned. Goodbye for now.